The Siren's Call, a play-by-post hosted by Quincy Slotemaker, played by Rachel Slotemaker. Introduction: A Blessing and a Curse. Ilum sighed. She looked across the world that had just been broken only years ago, brought about by endless wars of slavery, of death, of destruction. She couldn't help but shake her head at the horrible images of children screaming for parents, women for their men, and men perishing beneath the sword and in hails of gunfire. Ever since the division at 0AQ, things had improved, but not by much. Human beings, one of the most diverse and adaptive creatures in their creation, just didn't have enough in them, especially when defending against those naturally gifted in magic or ability. She looked up, her eyes falling upon her other half, Noctis. He was just as irritated and heartbroken over the situation. As the guide to the afterlife and the judge of ascension or descent, he had to bring so many in as of late. His eyes were weary, but attentive. He looked to the younger woman, and nodded. They had come to a decision. Humanity needed help. They needed symbols of hope, beacons of light, as well as symbols of judgment and harbingers of death. His voice, smooth and deep, rumbled the halls of paradise. So, we are decided. To help the humans, we will create for them something to guide and protect them. 4 for you and 4 for me. Who should keep the balance? Ilum nodded, her own sweet, high-pitched tone a stark contrast to the old and thoughtful man next to her. The Siren. Someone who is capable of controlling anyone and anything with their voice. Someone cursed to pass on to the torch the next generation in time. Someone blessed to bring about peace, if they so choose. Noctis nods. An agreement has been made. They should be distinct, visually from all others. Something that stands out, that is outcast, but is able to rise above and be known. Indeed. The two of them looked down on the world, knowing that this decision will forever change the course of Illustratum. Forever. It would fall upon Ilum to be the first to establish the Siren line, and she found a suitable candidate to bestow this blessing and curse upon. Descending from on high, she found herself inside of a quiet, simple bedroom. Its furnishing was of a rustic, sturdy, and homely nature. She looked around. A single picture of a man, long deceased in the quake, was sitting on a vanity next to a mirror. The young lady's betrothed, she knew, and this would be her gift to go with this curse. She was to bring him back as a father to a divine conception, and a much-needed one at that. She walked over and gently laid her hand upon the young woman's shoulder. The girl stirred, unsure who would be bothering her at this hour, before realizing something truly holy was happening. Be at peace, child, for I come to you with joyous news this evening. The next few hours were the most intimate Ilum had ever been with another human in their entire time. She explained everything to the young woman, how she would conceive a child, how the child would be a gift, but would have incredible powers and responsibilities. She also explained how she would bring her beloved back, an agreement between both her and Noctis to see their child raised as well as possible. By the end of it, the young woman was crying, tears of sorrow, tears of joy, and tears of wonder. Ilum sat beside the young woman and embraced her. Gently she touched the woman's stomach, and the joy of life immediately was felt. It is said that women know when they are pregnant, and this young one was no exception. She fell asleep, happy, nervous, in anticipation. Her morning was interrupted by the sound of someone outside her room, dishes clattering and a light swearing. She got up and opened the door. Standing there, attempting to make breakfast for his sleeping beloved, was Isaac Constantine, a soldier, a common man, and a lover. He looked at her, those warm hazel eyes, that black hair, his olive skin. It was him. Isaac? The woman's shriek was almost enough to shatter glass, and it immediately was followed with his response. "Hey, Gabby. Figured I would stop breakfast, what with you feeding for two and all." Her green eyes filled with tears. It wasn't just a dream. It was real. She ran to him, embraced him, and cried on his shoulder. She truly sobbed when his strong, calloused hands ran their fingers through her dirty blonde hair. She had lost him in a Mur raid years ago, and had promised him that she would never love another, never want another, even to her dying breath. The sheer joy that she felt, the sheer emotion, the simple fact that he was there pushed her off the edge. It would be several weeks before she would settle on the new normal. The two, and soon to be three of them, settling and raising a child of strange origin. This first couple, Isaac and Gabriella Constantine, would be the ones to teach the Siren of their abilities, their gifts, curses, and their place in the world. Generation and generation of Siren would live this way until the cycle was broken with Melody Arignes in roughly 290 AQ. Melody was the last born of three, an odd situation, and yet she was the only true Siren. The pregnancy was hard on her mother, ending her life after the birth of her final daughter. This conflict, ending in the death of two of the children, truly changed the way the Siren's blessing and curse was viewed. Melody married a wonderful man named Heath Wolf, but had sworn off her powers, giving them back to Ilum and to Noctis. But to her surprise, as she bore her daughter, the characteristic blue hair and wide eyes looked back at her, lovingly, needingly. While Melody had given her powers away willingly, her daughter, Hedrit, would still have them. This brought about something in Melody and Heath that wanted to train, teach, and help their daughter, and to their credit, they did well. Still, Hedrit proved a rebellious one, a fast learner, and one with a bit of a temper. It was this temper that brought Hedrit to the center, a location where many of those who are gifted, blessed, and cursed, are kept to be studied and eventually disposed of. She wouldn't stand for this treatment, and through the grapevine others felt this way as well, and it would be their downfall, underestimating the Siren's call. Hedrid awakens to the harsh alarm of the wake-up notification. The center starts their day at 6:30 sharp, and this was a day they were allowed to sleep in. She yawns, puts her slippers on, and walks over the door. A moment later, the door opens, and a young guard pushes her gently towards the shower.